Hail to the Redskins, 29-19 over Tampa Bay, the defending Super Bowl champions. And yeah, I said it and I don't care. And I just this was one of those games where I enjoyed watching, and it looked like they were the more motivated team, and it looked like there's always that at least 15 games a year where the team that's heavily favored just assumed they were going to win. That might fit the scenario for Tampa Bay, but I'm going to get this shot in there early before I forget and before someone else steals my thunder. The collegiate military schools, Air Force, Army, and Navy would all be jealous of the final drive of the game, 19 plays over 10 minutes off the clock. That was my favorite moment of the game, that entire drive. The Kiss touchdown pass was also nice. And I'm sure we'll break it down a lot of stuff, both positives and negatives throughout. But I wanted to make sure I got my stuff in fast and early. Phil, you got a smile on your face. It's a rare moment.
Yeah,
so
the only thing missing on that final drive was Coach Paul Johnson running the triple option there for the Redskins. That was it. We were the better team today, and I didn't dream in 1,000 years. I mean, if anybody's out there listening to my season recap, I didn't think we could win this game. I already had that in the loss column, but obviously Tampa did not show up today to play. Washington did. We were the better team, and we won. And I think this is a matchup issue where, let's face it, Tom Brady doesn't have the strongest arm in the world. I mean, he might be the greatest of all time, but his arm is below average. So he can't take advantage of our secondary. And when we're running our zone defenses, basically it just fits into our wheelhouse. And it cost him today. He had a couple drop passes on him, and we were able to get those turnovers. We didn't turn the ball over but once. And Taylor Heineke played within Taylor Heineke's self, and it worked out. We were the better team.
And Phil, really quick before I switch to Devin, you mentioned something in your recap video that came true today. You said Rivera is just a better coach the back half of the season. Well, now he's 1-0 for the back half of the season. Devin, your initial reactions?
I feel like the game was bittersweet because we got the win, but then again, we actually showed up, and it shows what happens when they show up for all 4 quarters. We can beat a good team, and we're 3-6 now. We were 2-6. What could have been if they showed up earlier in the season?
And I think let's go ahead and get the one huge negative out of the way. It's looking like the Predator himself has just been terminated, to be a bad Arnold Schwarzenegger movie references. But Chase Young, I mean, listen, I've experienced that injury twice. That to me looked like an ACL. Are y'all thinking it's ACL and season ending as well?
That's what I thought when I saw it at first. I said, whoa, he just tore his ACL. And that's exactly the first thing that I thought when he went off. I wish him the best, but I think we're better. Like if Landon Collins disappeared, I think we're a better team without Chase Young. And I think we're a better team without Landon Collins. I'm sorry, it's addition by subtraction.
Statement.
It is. And I agree. And that's what I think.
From what I heard, it was an ACL from what I read. But also piggyback off of Phil, once it happened, I wasn't too sad at all because I feel like we're a better team without him. Everyone plays hard and they do their job. And when he's there, it looks like he's not doing his job, filling his gaps and going down past the quarterback. So
I was trying to be nice, Devin, with this since the man just blew his knee out. But yeah, exactly what you're saying. I agree 100%.
Well, and piggybacking one more time before we go back to the positives, I lost count, but Heineke got sacked, I think 306 times it felt like. I know that's not true.
He got his brains beat out.
But I mean, the O-line, I know it's a makeshift O-line, and
no, it's not. That O-line that they had out there, dude, was missing one starter. Well, 2. Sorry. Cosme was out, but Lucas is just as good as Cosme. They were missing their center. They had Scherf. They had Flowers. He got re-injured. They had Lena.
But he got re-injured.
But he came back in.
He did.
And I think he got injured again.
I thought once he left, I thought he left. So, okay.
I think that offensive line is actually better with his backup in there. I don't like Scherf. I don't think I think he is overrated.
Personally,
And that's my opinion.
Personally, I feel like if we were to chop him at the end of this year, save some money because we're having him on the franchise tag, we'd be the same offensive line. He's a Pro Bowl offensive lineman, but he plays just like anyone else we put in there.
Exactly. I don't think there's a drop off when you get rid of him and you put in a guy that's like an undrafted free agent that the Falcons picked up years ago from Georgia Southern that was run blocking for the triple option and does just as good as a $16 million guard does. I can't tell the difference.
Let's focus on some positives. Brady's first interception, that wasn't on him. That almost looked like a fumble return that also was in the air. And then the second interception on Brady, that was on him. I don't know where that pass went. But the defense, especially the first half, minus a bonehead play that equaled a field goal right there at the halftime buzzer, that they did exactly what you hope they do every single game. That first half defense was phenomenal, and their fourth quarter defense really didn't need to do much because of a 10-minute drive by the offense. So overall, I'm actually quite happy with the defensive performance in today's game. How are y'all seeing the defense?
So what I saw was Jack Del Rio being Jack Del Rio, actually sending blitzes heavy. And the reason he did it was because Tom Brady, when you get to him, he's not Tom Brady. He's another quarterback out there. So I saw that happen a lot. And just like Phil was saying, a lot of zone, and looked like Brady wasn't doing very well against the zone.
Well, Brady's touchdown pass to their tight end at the goal line was simply because they had Mayo in as a linebacker. And if you noticed, he bit on the fake, came up, left his zone, and his man was wide open. His long touchdown pass, Kendall Fuller, I thought, played exactly how I want my boundary corner playing zone to play. He came up, he jammed the wide receiver, a bigger wide receiver tossed him off. But where was the safety? The safety was supposed to be there over the top and should have had that ball easy. But I'm very disappointed with number 20 out there. I don't think he's very good at all. He did have a pick today, but Brady just gave him that present. I don't think he played well at all. I did think Cam Curl was all over the place. Cam Curl was coming up on run support. He was coming up support on those short passes. Brady, if you notice, Curl didn't miss a tackle today. He was sure. He stopped everything. Nobody got any yards after contact against Curl. He was incredible. And Holcomb stopped people on those tackles too. I mean, granted, they were 4 and 5 yards down the field, but they didn't get any further. And that's just it. Yards after contact, Tampa had 0. It was pure tackling, with the exception of, as Charlie mentioned, Jackson getting that face mask before halftime. Besides that, our defense was pretty sound. That's how zone is supposed to work. And it works against a weak arm quarterback that has 0 mobility. And that's what we had today. It was a matchup that we work out pretty well. Next week against Cam Newton, not the case at all.
Well, it might be the XFL quarterback as well. So we'll talk more about Carolina on the backside of this, but let's finish up on the front side with the offense now. And Heineke, I mean, this is why we drink the Taylor Heineke Kool-Aid, because he had the good Taylor Heineke-like performance. That's the part that you hope that he's the starter in 2022 and 2023 and beyond. Even though he didn't even get a 100-yard game, what Antonio Gibson did for me was some of the reasons why the Redskins won. I mean, it was 60-some yards rushing. As a team, they had not even 100 yards rushing. But it was effective rushing. It was enough to allow Heineke be Heineke. That's my offensive takeaway. And then my other offensive takeaway, more on the negative, unfortunately. You're up 6-0. off of 2 turnovers. And unfortunately, I thought they should have, 13-0 off of two turnovers. I was afraid that wasn't going to be enough points. I was nervous they didn't put enough points in the end zone. Davin, what was your offensive takeaway?
First off, I'm very, I would say, happy that Scott Turner decided not to abandon the run. Against one of the better run defenses, he did not abandon the run. But I'll also say this is by far his best offensive calling game this year, maybe even including last year. He set up his offensive scheme around Heineke, and that's what he should have been doing from the start. And that's why Heineke looks so good. Also, Heineke made a few plays here and there that it's just him playing backyard football. But I would say it was a great game plan coming into the game from Scott Turner.
Bill?
I'll build on that because I agree 100% with everything Devin just said. If you noticed, and I've said it, Heineke has a below average arm. So don't have him throw deep outs. We threw one deep out today. One. We did not try to make him do things that he does not do well. Everything we did is things that Heineke did well. And when things broke down, for the most part, he made plays. He did get his tail kicked. He got beat up today. And you know what? People say, well, he always gets hurt. Let me tell you something. Getting sacked, what did he get sacked? 5, 6, 7 times. Got hit probably 11 or 12. Hard, too. He got nailed a couple of times. He kept on getting back up. I don't get back up. I'm out on a stretcher on a golf cart being wheeled out. That guy, he's tough. He's tougher. He doesn't get the credit he deserves. He didn't make any stupid passes. Sometimes the Bucs make some great plays. But I take our offensive performance today down to the Bucs play a zone defense. Todd Bowles is a zone defense coordinator. We see zone defense in practice every single day because that's what we run. And we're able to function against Tampa. It's a good matchup for us all the way around. It's a good matchup for our defense. It's a good matchup for our offense. And not abandoning the run. Gibson showed me something. Again, he was getting contact at the line of scrimmage or 1 yard in the backfield. And he was not going down. He was getting 2 and 3 yards on plays that should be no gain to -1. And then he scored a touchdown on the play. He was stopped at the line of scrimmage and just kept on churning and got the 2 yards into the end zone. Congratulations. And then going for it on that 4th down at the end of the game, which I would not have done.
I'm glad they did.
Just turned it on. He turned it on, bounced outside, and got the touchdown. That was the game sealer. I thought Gibson was great. He didn't drop any passes. He didn't fumble. I thought he had a fantastic game. His stats might not show it, but since I watched the game, I thought he was game MVP for the Skins.
Well, that transitions into my next question. I was going to do game balls. You can do a maximum of 3. Special teams if you want, defense if you want, and then offense if you want, or just one game ball. So Gibson is at least one game ball, Phil. Would you hand out any others?
Yeah, I'd give one to Heineke, and then I would give one to the backup tight end, Bates. Because after Seals-Jones got hurt in the first half, Bates came in and had 2 or 3 catches blocking. Are you kidding me? He knocked some guys on their butt on that touchdown that sealed the game. He took out, was it David or White, the linebacker for Tampa over there that's an all-pro linebacker, and he just tied him up and took him out of the play and allowed Gibson to get to the end zone. That's what we've been missing for years is a tight end that can block, and that is him. And then Cam Sims, I give him a hat tip, and I give Terry McLaurin a hat tip because anybody that can go across the middle, take a shot like that should have been flagged, and hang on to the ball to keep a drive alive at the end of the game on that 10-minute drive, hey, man, you're tough as nails, and Terry McLaurin is tough as nails.
Devin, game balls?
I would say number 1 would be Heineke, and he played a great game, but my biggest thing was he looked like he's developed. He's slowly progressing and making smarter decisions from previous games, throwing the check down. And then also I'd do Cameron Curls because he was all over the field. He played his butt off this game.
I have to throw one more in. Joey Sly.
That dude's jacked, man. What's he bench? You need to get him on the show and just ask him one question. What do you bench, 350 or 400?
I'm sure he bench 350 he benches me, 400 he benches you. So
Yeah, sure.
all right, one last question and we wrap it up. Next week, Rivera in Charlotte. Cam is back, maybe limited playing time. What do you see happening next week, Devin?
It's gonna be another roughing, but if they show up all 4 quarters, play their butts off, and come in with a good scheme, it could be a competitive game. I feel like this game gave me hope for the rest of the season, honestly.
Phil.
I'm terrified of this next game because of number one, they're going to have a mobile quarterback. That's death to us. Number two, Christian McCaffrey. We have no one that can match up to him. Landon Collins, please. Holcomb, no way. Jamin Davis, that would be our best hope. But Christian McCaffrey is a matchup nightmare against us, and that's the one guy that scares me.
If this game was 3 weeks ago or 2 weeks ago, I'd like our chances. I really would. But now you're playing with Cam, possibly. But what Cam does is people are going to pay the money and put some people in the seats. And McCaffrey is finally back healthy as well. Maybe Rivera knows the weaknesses of all of his players still there. And that could be the X factor. We'll see.
Can I also add on that Carolina just beat the Cardinals 34-10?
Well, okay. But how many times have everybody here and everybody who's watching this already knows this, okay? Spot start and relief, Colt McCoy is your man. The moment,
That's right.
Phil knows where I'm going with this. The moment
absolutely.
you name him as the number one on the depth chart, then you see what you see and you get the result that Arizona got. That's all I'm saying.
Joining that club is Fitzpatrick. He's another one. You bring him off the bench, he'll slice your jugular. You start him, and you're going to have 5 interceptions by half.
So we'll see what happens next week. It's going to be a great game, I think. Hopefully the Redskins will pull out. Like and subscribe to our videos, coachandcrewshow.com. We're on Instagram. We're on Twitter. We're on Facebook. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week. Hail to the Redskins.